Today, we explore the majestic and formidable Assyrian Empire at its zenith, a realm that stretched from the Nile to the Caspian Sea and from the Mediterranean to the Persian Gulf. The Assyrians were pioneers in various domains. They established the world's first professional army, created a postal service, developed an extensive road system, and made groundbreaking military engineering innovations. The administrative frameworks and governance methods developed by the Assyrians left an indelible mark on nearly every major empire that followed, from the Aegean to the Ottomans. Origins of the Assyrians. The Assyrians were a Semitic people descended from tribes that originally inhabited the Arabian Peninsula. In ancient times, this region was a diverse savanna, far removed from the vast desert we know today. However, by the latter part of the 3rd millennium BCE, climatic changes began to transform Arabia into an arid landscape, prompting significant migrations of Semitic tribes northward. Many settled in the Sinai Peninsula, Palestine, and the Levant, while others ventured into Mesopotamia. This latter group, known as the Akkadians, mingled with the local Sumerians, adopting much of their advanced knowledge and cultural practices. The first settlements of what would become the Assyrian civilization emerged along the middle course of the Tigris River, including the prominent cities of Nineveh, Erbil, and Ashur. For some time, these cities were subjects of the more dominant states in southern Mesopotamia, aligning themselves with powerful rulers such as Sargon the Great and Hammurabi. The lands of the Proto-Assyrians were ideally situated along crucial trade routes connecting lower Mesopotamia to Anatolia. As a result, cities like Ashur developed into significant trading hubs. Wealth generated from this commerce propelled Ashur's growth, and by the 19th century BCE, the city gained independence from Babylon. The city and the deity. Ashur was not merely the name of a city. It also represented the supreme god worshipped by its inhabitants. This deity was associated with war, military glory, and justice. Each city in Mesopotamia typically had its own patron god Marduk for the Babylonians, Enlil for the people of Ur, and Anu for Uruk, in the case of the Proto-Assyrians. Ashur embodied both the divine protector of the city and the very essence of the rock upon which it was built. The name of the god and the name of the city were written identically in cuneiform, symbolizing their inseparable connection. During this period, Ashur had not yet emerged as a fully established kingdom. Instead, the citizens viewed their true king as the god Ashur himself. The ruler acted solely as the earthly representative of the deity. This governance was hereditary but limited in scope, constrained by two critical institutions: a council of elders and a special official known as the Lemu. The Lemu, elected for a one-year term, served as head of the council and chief financial officer, ensuring that significant decisions and funding required communal approval. Transitioning power dynamics. Between the 18th and 17th centuries BCE, the peace and stability that had characterized Anatolia began to falter, leading to internal strife. Trade declined, and Assyrian colonies such as Karam-Kanish faced destruction. As a consequence, Ashur lost its status as a vital trade center and fell back under Babylonian dominance during the 16th century BCE. This period was marked by fierce confrontations between Babylonians and Hittites, culminating in the Babylonian capture and looting around 1531 BCE. In the aftermath, Kassite tribes from the Iranian plateau invaded and gained control over Babylon. Meanwhile, Assyria, still struggling for independence, became a battleground for the newly established Mitanni kingdom, which exerted its influence over Ashur for nearly 2 centuries. Although Ashur remained nominally independent, foreign representatives often dictated significant decisions, limiting the city's autonomy. By the 15th and 14th centuries BCE, Ashur began to reclaim its independence. The ruler Ashur-bel-Nasser seized upon the internal discord within Mitanni to rebuild the city's fortifications, which was viewed as a provocative act equivalent to declaring war. Mitanni, embroiled in its own conflicts, could not respond effectively. Ashur-uballit expelled foreign envoys and declared himself king while seeking support from Mitanni's adversaries, including the Egyptians. This resurgence prompted Babylonian King Bernaburiash II to appeal to Pharaoh Akhenaten, urging him not to recognize Assyria's sovereignty, a plea that was ultimately disregarded. With regained independence, the Assyrians underwent a significant ideological shift. They began to see themselves not merely as a city-state but as a territorial state, the land of Ashur, or *Madu Ashur, King Adad-nirari. I began adopting grand titles, referring to himself as King of the World rather than just King of Assyria. Royal titles increasingly reflected military accomplishments, with the key title Merksmiter, the one who expands the borders, * becoming central to their identity. The Assyrians perceived the god Ashur as the source of cosmic order, believing their state embodied divine law amidst the chaos surrounding them. This outlook positioned their expansionist aims as a divine mission, rendering any resistance to Assyrian rule as not only an act of defiance, but also an affront to the will of Ashur. The expansion and downfall of Mitanni. As Assyria's ambitions grew, they set their sights on Mitanni, asserting dominance through military conquests. Adad-nirari I initiated this campaign by annexing portions of Mitanni and compelling its ruler to acknowledge vassal status to the Assyrian king referred to as bearing the yoke of Ashur. This initial victory led to further territorial gains as the Hittites dealt a deadly blow to Mitanni, capturing its capital, Wasukani. Shalmaneser I, the next Assyrian ruler, quickly annexed what remained of the weakened Mitanni territory. The Assyrian expansion continued under Tukulti-Ninurta I, who conquered Babylonia to the south while inflicting heavy losses on the Hittites to the north. However, ambitions for full-fledged empire status were halted when Tukulti-Ninurta was assassinated in a palace coup. His death ushered in a tumultuous period marked by internal strife, paralleled by the late Bronze Age collapse, which saw the decline of many thriving civilizations. Yet, while the empire contracted around the 10th century BCE, it would soon find renewal. Renewal under Tiglath-Pileser III. King Tiglath-Pileser III ascended the throne in 745 BCE through a military coup amid a weakened state. Upon taking power, he instituted sweeping military reforms that fortified the Assyrian army. Previously reliant on a militia of free citizens, Tiglath-Pileser organized the first professional army by recruiting impoverished individuals into military service, equipping them at the state's expense, and introducing regular training and strict discipline. These reforms coincided with an enhanced administrative strategy. New taxes and labor obligations were imposed on farmers and craftsmen, and provinces were divided to limit local governors' power. Crucially, he appointed officials known as *Inuku* as governors. These officials could not have children, mitigating potential dynastic threats to the central authority. With a restructured and more stable state, Tiglath-Pileser launched a new wave of military campaigns. The Assyrians had transitioned from defensive to aggressive postures, aiming for expansion. This marked a significant turning point in the Assyrian approach to warfare, characterized by territorial acquisition and extraction of wealth from conquered lands. Conclusion. The legacy of the Assyrian Empire. The Assyrian Empire emerged as one of the most formidable powers in the ancient Near East, leaving a legacy that would influence subsequent empires long after its decline. Its innovations in administration, military strategies, and statecraft established blueprints that shaped governance and conquest in later civilizations. As the Assyrians expanded their territories, their relentless pursuit of power and wealth was matched by their ingenuity in warfare, ultimately leading to both their rise and their downfall. Despite the formidable nature of their campaigns, the Assyrians' policies of terror and subjugation bred deep-seated resentment among their enemies. This cyclical nature of dominance, resistance, and eventual decline serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities of imperial power where ambition often begets instability. As we reflect on the legacy of the Assyrian Empire, we see not just a conqueror of lands, but a culture that has shaped the very fabric of civilization, marking significant advancements in military strategy, governance, and trade that resonate through history to this day.